Cooldown.
I swear, I thought I could go back in time.
Sorry, Steve.
You can get a Hanamitis and just deny a critter from someone, like just kill a bird. That goal.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
We're not
that is actually
whoa.
That is
Jesus.
actually a better, because I've heard the hero ability one, but eventually we'll have to talk about
items.
What
yeah.
item would you get?
I mean, Blink Dagger's a pretty good one.
Blink Dagger's good.
I'd take a
Boots
Blink
of
Dagger.
travel, then at least you know where you're going, because you got to select a building or a person.
Yeah, but I like my
Hex.
shoes.
But I don't
Boots
have
of travel
friends
are-
around the world.
I'd rather
really.
one. I'd rather Hex. Turn someone into a little critter. Just
You're
like
working on the internet.
it's pretty funny.
Hanamitis is still
We're in the draft.
We are. All right, let's jump back in. Let's go ahead and channel back into EG versus Faceless and their draft. EG already 1-0 up, and already we have seen a couple of bans across the board.
And EG Radiant once more.
EG Radiant.
Same band's probably going to be coming out. Bat Ogre. Veno, of course, from Faceless. What was the other one they banned out? It was Slaughter? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they...
No. They
Drow,
banned
sorry.
Veno, Drow, and
Sorry.
Bad Ogre, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this time around, maybe you try and get Slardar instead of Nyx.
Why do you say
I'm not
it so
sure how. I'm
hesitantly?
not sure because I'm trying to think of offlaners that like Sand King, Slardar, like those are the offlaners that put pressure in lanes really heavily. I'm not sure if Nyx Assassin does enough for you.
How about a
right?
Timbersaw?
Like I don't know. Like Nyx Assassin's good, but he's not the best necessarily at that.
I think Timbersaw could be cool here just because they keep seeing the same opener from EG. They keep doing Wisp Lifestealer every single time, so maybe they're going to go for something along those lines here. They do grab the Warlock again. It's like their most comfortable
this
hero.
is identical to the start previous,
Yeah.
Slardar, Timbersaw, those two sound pretty decent to me.
Yeah, we saw when LGD was facing Faceless, the Timbersaw and the Nyx Assassin were first banned every single time.
Okay.
Yeah, they go for the Timber this time.
Yeah, and Timber was also banned second phase previous game, so they couldn't get their hands on that one anymore. So Timbersaw it is.
Yeah, it's always very good versus Wisp because he's like one of the... he is the only range support as a strength hero, so he gets crushed by Whirling Death.
Yep.
He's literally the dream for a Timbersaw
Yeah.
player. Oh, squishy strength hero? All right.
Got him.
That is
yeah. A free snack.
all me. Do you still pick up Lifestealer? I think Lifestealer may be a questionable pickup second when you already have Timbersaw on
Where's
the
the doubt
field
coming
and you
from?
don't know.
Okay, Timbersaw.
I mean, unless they want to
I
just keep
Timber.
practicing it, right? They picked it,
Yeah.
I think, every single series that we've seen them play today. Just that Wisp Lifestealer opener. Arteezy's probably a bit sick of playing it, though, so they do go for something different. OD, very good versus the Timber and very good versus the Warlock, and has had great success here on the mainstream. It's won, I think, it's won all but one game, right? Yeah,
DOD.
Complexity dropped one with it. And then all the other ones, it was like maybe he was going ham with it or Cancel went very ham with it.
Oh,
so
OD, yes.
yeah, the OD, that is.
Yeah, no one had incredible games on it, you're right.
Mhm.
Alongside, maybe. Just good influential mids taking OD and doing damage.
Yeah,
Wait,
basically.
did they pick the exact same? Because EG had first pick last time, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and Faceless
It's the
was
same. Yeah.
Dire last time.
So that means that
They're
Faceless
just like,
prefers
"Alright,
first
repeat."
pick and EG prefers Radiant. Sorry,
Or
Faceless
EG.
prefers second pick? Faceless prefers Dire. There you go. Faceless
We got
prefers Dire, and EG prefers first pick.
Mhm.
Weird, because most teams prefer Radiant.
Well, I was looking at that, actually.
Yeah. The stats are kind of screwed right now, right?
Yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
hear them?
Yeah.
Hang on, I have them up on my telephone. Currently, it's pretty nuts. Dire wins 12, Radiant wins 26.
That's a big
Boom.
difference.
Yeah.
Still.
First pick OP.
First pick, perhaps, yeah.
Or
Or just it
or
could be
Radiant
just a
would be.
coinkydink.
Definitely possible.
Generally, I mean, some games have been fairly long. Normally, when the games are short, Radiant is favored. When the games are long, Dire is favored due to the Roshan advantage. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. But, I mean, it's still only like 30 games. And I know that I say only, but how much, we don't know exactly how much impact it will have.
Yeah,
or
first
it
pick
has
wins
to.
8, second pick wins 30.
Wow.
That's the hard part about grabbing the Timbersaw early. They've already been countered once by second pick on OD, and now they still have to address like other Timbersaw counters. So they take away Ursa, which has been we haven't seen that much of it in this tournament, but I think it's oftentimes been banned because it is such a powerful hero right now. It's
Axe as well. It's a nice, very nice ban out there for them. Pure damage, obviously, going straight through the armor of the Timbersaw, be able to just take him out with that. And you have a nice block, BKB piercing lockdown. I mean, obviously, Timber won't get a BKB early, but maybe at one point versus an OD, you kind of have to.
And Pugna ban. We were talking about this before. It's cropped up on the desk.
It's
Faceless hero.
Yeah.
It's a Faceless hero, and it's in Asia, Southeast Asia, and in China. It's picked up a lot against OD.
Yeah.
Very strong against that. So to just to take that out, it's an annoying hero to deal with. Even if EG might be able to do that, they just it's when it's like
Don't bother.
let's not bother that
Yeah.
one.
I'm
Absolutely.
repeatedly surprised how powerful the Ether Lens, Ags, and BKB is on
Mhm.
Pugna. Like every single time I see it, like the timing goes later for me. I see Pugna and I'm like, used to be 25 minutes. Okay, he's going to start falling off. Then, the whole Aghanims build, and I'm like thinking 35, 40 minutes. And I see these games like 55 minutes in. This Pugna is still really powerful.
2,000 range away. Just
Yeah,
like,
he's just like, he's just constantly using it to heal allies, hurt enemies, and it would work very well for a Timbersaw in particular. You want a really nice, good, tanky frontliner to take advantage of that. Rubik has been one of the better supports. China and Southeast Asia favoring this hero
Right.
quite a bit, especially early.
But both Warlock and Rubik are not your most aggressive supports, I'd say.
Mhm.
Is that something that's going to hurt them? Because they seem so far fairly passive in the lanes with the two supports, and Timbersaw just wanting to get a lot of experience before he will start to get level 6 and actually start doing some damage. And of course, Ice is great on the Timbersaw, but he also will need some time. Is that scary for them if we consider previous game and how fast that went?
It might be a little scary. I think it's just like Rubik's probably the safest. Like we kind of said, it's the hero that's been picked like majority of the time, and it's great versus OD. You're always gonna get a great spell steal, and now they even pick Sanking into it. So that's probably the dream as a Rubik. That's pretty much the staple that China's been doing. Is like they pick like Rubik Sanking together to make sure the other team doesn't have it. So because you don't want to have like the steal happen, like those type of interactions. Just because Rubik getting Burrow Strike is probably like one of the best abilities he can get.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the reason, right? They knew
Yeah.
Sand King was going to be picked up, valuable versus both cores.
Yeah.
It's like if you're EG, why don't you just run the same aggro dual lane with Sand King? Again, you're in a situation whenever you're against Warlock, I think it's very favorable for you to be able to get the initiation first.
Right.
Particularly with Sand King, because his damage will continue to go out even if he does get stunned, right? So if he makes an initiation, Warlock tries to counter with Chaotic Offering, like the damage is already going out from Burrow Strike and Epicenter. So you're likely to be able to take that hero down despite Warlock's attempt at a counter initiation.
Sanking pure magical damage too versus the Timbersaw, so it's always great. All
So-
three of those offlaners that could have been potentially picked were good options for EG. And yeah, Faceless go for a Weaver again. So
Is there any core that EG could pick up as their last pick that would fit really well with their draft so far?
what's so they still need they still need two heroes. So they still need the
Brainstorm.
crit or the
Arteezy?
or the Arteezy hero.
I think you
Could
definitely
They
take
have-
the crit
they
hero
have-
right now.
Yeah,
Arteezy on safe lane OD before. But
That's
it's not
true.
as common.
Mhm.
But it could be something they could have in the back of their mind just in case. But
It was probably to dodge an unfavorable matchup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
I think Disruptor here looks very good
Okay.
versus the Timber and the Weaver.
they had it bad
Very
out
strong.
against them previous game.
Yeah,
Earth Spirit's
Earth Spirit. Yeah,
quite strong. The Silence versus the Timbersaw. We're basically looking for mostly really good, and like even Skywrath Mage would not be terrible.
Is Lion, like obviously we saw Lion last game, is
No,
it not?
Weaver?
it still has potential. The Lion, right?
Yeah,
It's the
for
Wisp
sure.
line. They've got
Elaborate.
lots of disable versus the Timbersaw Weaver. Those two heroes are very easy to just like move around. So it's just like you need some lockdown to be able to take them out. That's always good. It's more magical damage burst.
Yeah, because you're going to have to deal with the Lincolns on Weaver,
Yeah.
and you want to be able to control both the Weaver as well as the Timbersaw. So any of those AoE disables are really nice to have. And Lion has just a double disable where he can quickly eat through the Lincolns and get the other one down.
Yeah, Lion Disruptor are probably the more ones that stand out because they seem to really like picking the only their spirit with the Darkseer just because of the laning potential.
Right.
So EG is also a team that sometimes goes for Witch Doctor, or crit goes for Witch Doctor anyway. Is
Oh.
that not a hero
Not-
that can
not
come
a
up? No,
rel-
not this game because Maledict versus Timbersaw.
But the Paralyzing Cask is hard to do against Timbersaw because he can sometimes Timber Chain away
Yeah,
before the
during.
cast hits you. And it's really slow versus Weaver, right? So
This is a great pick here. They
You
already
like
know
the
that
anti-mage?
the Weaver's already picked up. Two of the cores are picked up, and this anti-mage is very good versus both of them. And there's not really any. There's only like the Rubik lift right now as it's disable on the side of Faceless. This is a great anti-mage pickup with the OD and the Sanking, able to make space for him on the map.
There goes the Disruptor ban again.
Well, it's kind of the shoe is on the other foot now, right? We saw Anti-Mage from Faceless, and it didn't go too well. Maybe Samel or whoever's going to be giving us a little bit of a tutorial.
If you think about the mids that are left, there's not too many that you feel comfortable that are both good versus OD and Anti-Mage.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Sniper is obviously the one that comes to mind just because of, you know, the laning matchup versus the OD, but
Then you're versus an Anti-Mage.
then versus your
gap
Anti-Mage and
closer.
Sniper, yeah.
You pick like a Mirana, your heavy magic damage against an Anti-Mage. You grab...
They need something that scales harder, right? I feel like they need something that can actually...
As a mid.
I feel like it's really...
I don't know, in some ways, right, you're facing an OD and an Anti-Mage. I don't feel comfortable going late
Going
game
late,
against
yeah,
them.
you don't really want to go late.
So maybe I want a Tempo Controller, a hero that
Dragon
comes
Knight
online early.
is, I mean, you can't do it solo lane
Coddle.
against an OD
Okay.
at this point. You're gonna have to have a Rubik or a Warlock come mid with you, right?
Yeah.
Unless you go for the Sniper still, which might be a little bit unlikely there.
It's a cool approach. Instead
yeah.
of getting disabled, they go for Coddle. So Mana Leak is a devastating factor versus the Weaver and Timbersaw. Obviously, if you get burned down too far, you just get blown up by Mana Void. Enables the Anti-Mage a bit more.
There's your Tinker
Oh, they
still.
go
There we
for the
go.
Tinker. Okay, so that's one, but that does put them into a margin of going into the later stages, obviously.
Yes, very
Mhm.
heavily.
Which I don't know if they really benefit too much from that. but-
How are they gonna get to the later stages is my question.
Yeah, that's actually...
But if they
something.
get there, they have a chance.
It's a big if, okay? It does
Yes.
seem like EG, in your
Liking
minds,
EG.
have backing EG
Yeah.
in this desk, expecting to see this one done in 2. Not particularly surprising there, but Purge and LD are standing by to see if we do get to see a third. Gentlemen, it's over to you.
All right, Kevin. Well, EG saying you can't beat us with the AM, but we're going to beat you with it. And, man, this looks like
Yeah.
it could be a really good AM game. Timbersaw, Tinker, even Warlock, like 3 of the best targets in the game to just blow up with the Mana Void.
Do you think this was strategy or rubbing salt in Black's wounds?
I
What do
don't
you think?
I don't think it's like a salty run back or anything. I legitimately think that they just found the AM to be a good pick this game.
It definitely is. It's and not to mention they have Cuddle and AM now, so they have another way to drain the mana. They have OD ulti to drain mana. They have Cuddle, Mana Leak to drain mana, and they got AM to profit from it with a big ult.
I love the Keeper of the Light pick, especially. We'll talk more about it, but it looks like the game has begun. EG taking out Faceless here in game number 2. Winner of the series has the honor of playing Complexity, so potentially EG and Call could face again.
I'm sure EG
That-
want that one.
That will be a very intense series.
All they got to do is close this one out, and they've got it. So it's looking pretty good for EG, especially with the draft. But with the Tinker pick on Faceless, this looks to me like a team in a place that the things they're trying is not working, and they're saying, let's go to the comfort. Let's pick the comfort heroes. They tried it on Black last game. This game, it's going to all be about jabs there on the Tinker.
Yeah, and going for the Tinker against an AM, like he has to have a good start. If he falls behind, the AM gets that first big item before he does, it's going to snowball real fast. And not to mention, there's other good catch on this team. You've got the Keeper of the Light to recall heroes around the map, to relocate ganks, the potential for like a late game Hex, maybe even Blink on Sumail and the OD. And of course, they have the Sand King, so they have good catch. Not the best vision in the trees, like no Bat or Storm, but they're still quite good adept at catching the Tinker, and really no saves to speak of on Faceless.
Yeah, the heal's not going to be enough there, and they have some team fight with the Rock ulti and stuff, but it's a little scary. Although I do like their combos with Warlock better this game. At least they have things like Heat-Seeking Missile. Black trying to steal that one. Not able to do so. Good attempt, though. And it looks like it's going to be aggressive dual lane, perhaps.
Yeah, so anticipating the Sand King off lane, obviously Caustic really tough for Weaver to deal with his low attack range and very pitiful health pool. So they're going to run the Timbersaw here, but that doesn't mean a Weaver up against a Keeper of the Light Anti-Mage and IO tri-lane.
Yeah.
So he's going to get some help of his own, and this has been Faceless's bread and butter, but they're doing this tri-lane with a Rubik. How do you feel they're going to fare?
It's not too bad, actually. Weaver, I think, especially if he gets like a free level 2, level 3, maybe even at the sacrifice of the supports, he can actually contribute a lot to the tri-lane. And maybe Rubik's not the best, but I think Warlock's fantastic at it. So I think this should be just fine for them.
Yeah, I say he's trying to get that early bully out on Universe up top. So that'll be a 1v1 mid. It will just be the Tinker versus OD. 2 heroes that normally are pretty good at dominating the lane with the blind from the laser, and then, of course, the OD being able to banish you and freely last hit on a regular basis. So
I'm most excited about the top lane, actually. Ice always proves to be one of the best 1v1 players that does play off lane. Universe also fantastic at it, but often plays more of a safe play style, so it's going to come down who can actually win this lane. And I definitely think we could see a kill pre-6.
Yeah, the Caustic just so annoying to lane against at the same time. Whirling Death for a strength melee hero also extremely aggravating. So far, CS advantage definitely going the way of Universe. So we see Arteezy getting onto XY here, down bottom. Bit of harass early. You can see Ice running out of mana now. Does have the single mango ready. We'll have to see what build he goes for. Generally, we have seen lots of early points in the reactive just to try and deal with the harassment. But
yeah, I think he's already kind of in a lot of trouble just because for Universe to do harass, all he has to do is right-click creeps or the enemy hero. But Ice actually needs mana here, and he's got less hits than the Sand King does right now, and now that he's lower on HP, he's got to keep his health in a decent place. Otherwise, he just won't even be safe to farm the Arcanes in the first place.
Still a ways to go until he gets those. And meanwhile in mid, Sumail really having his way with jabs. Only 2 and 4. He does have a wave coming in here, but gonna have a tough time last hit in their tower. Sumail getting off the extra little deny. Just disrupting the Tinker's last hitting. And Tinker not getting a good start. They're also going aggressive tri-lane, which means they're not stacking for him. So if he's gonna come back from a bad lane, it's gonna be a slow comeback, Kevin.
Yeah, it really will. Very tough for jabs at the moment. On the bright side, maybe he can get some stacks done. We'll see how many points he puts into something like March of the Machines, but the more he delays it, the harder it is going to be to catch up to Sumail. But
oh god, 3-hero eliminate
3.
bottom. Well, Keeper Light, he used to be king of the try-on-try lane. Like, I go back to the TI3 era where it was a little bit more passive in the laning stage. Alliance really mastered stacking heavily. They'd let Bulldog come and clear the camps just to rush his Midas as an off-lane prophet, but he could also, Keeper Light could also fare really well in aggressive 3-on-3 tri-lanes where you're fighting, just because, you know, if you had a good Illuminate, you've done an insane amount of damage, and so far, working out quite well for them.
And they're able to get pulls off as well, so any last hits that Black's trying for here gets a few of them, but definitely wants to get as many of those lane creeps as he can.
Oh, Universe threatening for a kill top. Ice dropping very low to the caustic damage. Has the burrow ready, catches him mid-chain, scores the solo kill. And when you're running this aggro tri-lane, you're doing it specifically so you get that 1v1, you bank on Ice to win it, and for him to give up a kill like that, that is devastating.
Like, yeah, there's so many items ready to go for Universe now. Just Caustic Finale, man, it's such a great skill in 1v1s, especially against a melee hero. And even though Ice was getting a lot of regen from reactive armor, it only does so much for his survivability. So.
I mean, do they have to send a support top? Do you kind of have to give up on shutting down the AM and go focus on the Sand Cane? Is it too late? What do you do?
They are pressuring Anti-Mage really well right now, and I think Weaver is a good solution. They need to get a kill soon, and that's what they have to do. Warlock does have level 2 and an invis, but there's a sentry here. It's going to spot him.
Arteezy, there's a lift. Potentially, XY's going to come in, lets it go, and now they nuke him, but he'll just blink away with the Fatal Bonds and be absolutely fine. So
a very late reaction there by Nuts. I think he was hoping that he could get out of the sentry range, but he just got hit so many times. He just got back, and now he's already out of mana and missing a lot of HP too.
And meanwhile, Universe and Ice is duking out. The good news for Ice, I guess, is he's at least got some mana to work with now. Universe going to burrow away, has the epicenter. Go back for the Iron Talon so can do a spot of jungling as need be. So they continue to apply this pressure in the bottom lane. Black getting forced out, and it seems like the sustain of EG is just prevailing here.
Yeah, it's IO really. I mean, any regen that crit gets on the IO, it's going to go towards Arteezy as well. If he gets a bottle refill additionally, then even more regen for Arteezy. And with the fast ring of health in lane, he's doing just fine here. So they've got to get some kills soon. Otherwise, this is going to fall flat, especially with Ice farming worse than Sand King.
Meanwhile, mid, just see Universe moving in. They can Astral into an epicenter. I'm not sure if he was spotted by that creep walking down, but he's going to back away. Hanging quite far. Oh, actually does get scouted, skirting the tree line and swinging around just for a moment if Jabs was watching closely.
Yeah, night vision's a little deceptively farther than you might think it is, so he does end up going back top. In some ways it was good he got spotted because now Jabs is sitting really far back fearing the gank. And as soon as he shows top now, Jabs can go back to farming in a safe way. So
you've lost all 3 lanes. Sand King solo kills your safe lane solo. They're free farming on their AM at this point. OD's winning mid. Like, it looks pretty damn bad for Faceless, Kevin. They're already down 1,500 gold, 750 experience. What's the comeback mechanic here?
It's a lot, but most of that is on the supports. So it does look really bad, but it's not as bad as I think it is. If you just look at the net worths, for example, every single hero that's doing well on EG is close to being matched by Faceless heroes. So first couple team fights and gank rotations are really where things matter.
All right, let's see if they find something. Zai bottom lane gets clipped by the Swarm. XY there with the toss back. They'll find the kill. They also stun Arteezy. He used the blink offensively, but with no Swarm on him, should be okay. Dropping low, but has the poor man shield, has the regen. He'll be fine. Meanwhile, mid lane, Jab's getting run down. Will be finished off while that was happening. The Tinker blown up with Crit and Sumail combining. And now moving after deploying one Observer Ward. They want to scout out these Tinker stacks, it looks like. Crit is going to be planting down another ward momentarily.
Black getting Arteezy pretty low. Sand King comes though, and it's going to be close. Okay, no level 6 for Anti-Mage yet, so he's going to be just fine. But very low on HP now, which means laning again is going to get a little hard. I'm sure he wishes Warlock was still there.
Yeah, Nuts going for some stacking, but this is scouted by that Obs.
Tried to go for the double stack. Only got one, but still pretty good. Definitely will help Tinker in a moment, especially with his level 6 here.
I could easily see EG coming to either steal these, you've got Sand King keep it light, or maybe even just take a fight there.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It might be a little too early, especially if Jabs rotates over at any moment in the next minute. Ice is also getting levels and experience on his lane free farm, so...
Yeah, Universe has been moving a lot, and as a result, in fact, still moving under cover of smoke now. He wants to find a kill mid and slow down Jabs, but as a result, Ice is getting that much-needed free time.
He's got a great roaming build, though. With the Tranquil Boots, he runs really fast right now, so just has to get within Burrow Strike range, and that should be a kill.
They could go for an Astral here to set up, and they will do so. Universe, is he going to Epicenter his way into this? No, he's going to Burrow Strike to start. They combo him down. They will commit the Epicenter.
Farming
Not
Epicenter.
Hugely needed, but he got those creeps.
Yeah, and actually that's not the worst thing ever. Creeps are on tower now. That means the tower's going to take a good 300, 400 points of damage. Oh, but instead there's going to be a fight bot rune.
Well, they want XY. Arteezy has that extra bit of move speed. Out comes the Swarm. XY looking for the Roshan deny. Not going to happen, says Arteezy. Another ultimate usage there, but a smart one to secure the kill. And EG make it 4-1. A lot of movement, a lot of pressure, but all of these things resulting in direct numerical advantage as they continue to amplify their gold and experience lead.
Yeah, I really like that they went for that one. Just a small mistake by the Rubik thinking, might see his eye kill here. He's so low.
Ice really needs to get something going, trying for the juke. Gandalf putting on his Nikes. Can he possibly get out of here? Not one more auto attack. Look at the kill. Does buy some time for Crit to get in the lane, and he's going to tether his way forward. There's a little bit of damage to Ice, trying to bait him in, really, but Ice with the Chakram chaining through. Crit then quickly able to stick up and look for the turnaround. Still no backup. Ice, he's not done with this one yet. He's going to Soul Ring. Look for the jump forward. He will connect on Crit mid-tether. Chakram, that won't hit. They're bringing him low, courtesy of the Fatal Bonds. Can they finish him off? The Chakram pullback gets the job done. Off with your head, he says, though. I'm not really sure Io has one, but he's dead anyway. That
was true Ice right there. I knew he was diving as soon as the Io baited him like that.
He's like, you want to outplay me? I'm going to outplay you.
But EG is one of the worst teams to try that against because they are also so individually skilled. I honestly didn't know if he was going to be able to catch Io with that last Timber Chain, but he gets him, and great movement there by moving his hero with the Chakram and pulling it on a different direction.
Well, tower mid does get denied. XY and Jabs combining for that, but at the same time, Tinker getting his tower pushed down this early with the March build. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, it's a bad place to be, and he can go to the jungle, but now it's even harder to defend the jungle if he gets ganked there.
That's a really good point.
Enemy heroes aren't going to be super behind enemy lines, like where that Radiant Ward is in the Dire jungle. They can fight in that area, and they're not really that unsafe in comparison to what it would have been otherwise.
Yeah, and there was no trade of any kind. Arteezy, all three cores of EG still free farming. After that momentary ganking moment, Universe is caught right back up, actually dead even with the Timbersaw once again, and Blink is coming soon, Kevin, so got to imagine with that, the impending relocate for Crit, already level 5 3/4, roughly. They're gonna be looking to make moves around the map.
Yeah, that one's gonna be really dangerous too, because all they have to do is take Sand King and put him somewhere within Blink epicenter range, and then the relocate will always come on top of that. Start the relocate, bring in the epicenter, and you're gonna have a dead hero, and that's gonna be Tinker, that's gonna be Weaver, that's pretty much everybody on Faceless except for Timbersaw, who's usually quite tanky. So it's looking pretty scary for them. The rotations
Universe
for EG.
has the blink, waiting in the trees. He can't kill Ice, I don't think, solo. But well, actually, maybe with the Caustics, he has a chance that he's going for it. Jumping in, looking for the combo play. It's onto Nuts directly. Gets him with the Caustic. A little bit of extra damage, but the heal comes through. The turnaround might be there with the Rock. They brought in Arteezy. He's low. Not dead yet, though. They commit the Golem. And they will lose the Warlock. Ice still surviving, jumping deeper. Once crit, gets him with the Chakram at the final hour, but in turn will pay. His Universe will follow a Bloodbath top, a 2 for 2. The Blink revealed, and now they chase for Sumail, but he's pretty far away. And they'll poke him, but they can't really prod him down.
I almost guarantee Black said, "Get out of here," when he attacked him that one time just now. There's pretty much no other purpose. It was a great turn, though, by Faceless. The Golem bought them some time. I think Ice was definitely justified going for the IO trade there to guarantee that kill, and Black cleaning up the Sand King afterwards. That was not bad for them, considering that their cores are getting out-farmed. If they don't have at least equal trades here, they're going to get massively behind in gold as well as experience.
And when you're behind like this, a 2 for 2 trade is actually a win as far as the raw numbers go. And then on top of that, they do get the tower. Nicely done. Ice now moving on to bottom, pressuring Arteezy pretty heavily. A lot of nuke damage, but he gets caught mid-chain. It is a level 4 chain, though. They need to get that Keeper of the Light Monolith. Actually haven't skilled it for Zai at all, which means their ability to control Ice is a bit limited here. So he can play a lot more aggressively. You know, something the analysts talked a lot about, how good Monolith is this game, but Kevin, he has yet to take a single point in it.
Ooh, but with Sumail showing up, things get a little bit harder. He thought he could fight this, but he's really low.
Oh, God.
He dropped his items to pop another Soul Ring because he expected needing some min-max here, but it absolutely cost him. I think he was probably dead anyways, but sometimes Ice goes a little too far, and that was one of those moments.
It is a little space created for the Tinker. Jabs has grabbed his BOTs. At the same time, though, Arteezy still farming very well. Looks like he is going to go for the full greed build here, going Battle Fury, probably Vlad's. It could just be a casual headdress. We'll see for sure later. But
yeah, he got pressured so much that sometimes they just buy it in the laning stage because you need the extra regen here. It's going to put some pressure on Black. Bug's going down. This is dangerous for Black. He's going to have to time-lapse here or he's dead.
Doesn't have the mana for it. Pops the stick. Black not able to get away. They didn't even have detection. Could have time-lapsed and then just Sakuchi'd out, but tried to play a little greedy.
Huge mistake there, because as soon as he revealed himself after using Sakuchi, he had a good 5 seconds till his next invis, and 2 hits from AM, and he's already down to the point of no return, where if he goes below 150, he's out of mana. If he casted it, though, he would have gotten his mana back and possibly survived. But
you know, the one thing is maybe he didn't expect Arteezy to have the second point in mana break, because a lot of AMs will just take the 1 and then get more stats, but then again, he was laning against him, so he may have already noticed. Either way, XY moving on bottom, tries to find Zai here, catches the Keeper Light behind the tower, and then able to steal the Illuminate, which he uses against him. Could he get off another Zap? Fade pull. Oh, just barely tasers Gandalf down. Gives him a little zap in the tush, and we'll get the kill. But EG, meanwhile, they're making the trades. They push in top. Arteezy closing on that Battle Fury. And oh, by the way, there is an OD in this game. We haven't talked much about him, but I think that's a bad thing for Faceless, because, Kevin, he is the most farmed hero in the game again.
That's Sumail, man. And he didn't go too many farming items, just opting for the really fast Force Staff and Dragonlance. It'll be great for fights. But I see some glimmer of hope here for Faceless, and it's definitely more than a glimmer. Just Ice having a pretty good start. He's died a couple times, but his farm level is all right. XY getting that solo kill jumped him heavily towards Blink Dagger. He's at 1500 himself. And if he can get some good steals here, like Burrow Strike from Sand King, or the Banish from Outward Devour, or even the Blink from Anti-Mage, he's going to be online in a really strong way.
Arteezy jumping in very aggressively onto Jabs, but does get lasered for his trouble. Now the TP rotation. Timbersaw going to come in. Crit very low. There's almost no regen left. No bottle charges, only 1 stick charge. But they have fully invaded the jungle, and with Universe here, they might be looking for Go. Nuts doesn't know about it, but EG, they see him first. They get the Blink Burrow. Arteezy the last hit, and that basically gives him the Battle Fury. Despite all the pressure, the aggro tri-lane, he's got the casual headdress, treads, Poor Man's Shield, and Battle Fury only about 400 gold away. This is a pretty fast pace for the AM.
Yeah, he's in a great spot. It's a pretty moderate mistake by Warlock, though, I'd say, especially with Anti-Mage blinking that aggressively to harass the Tinker in the first place. Crit's
Crit
pretty
for the
low
TP
here.
out. Sakuchi. Oh, the auto-tech not in time. Now Arteezy can go into Black. Time-lapse unavailable as he gets stunned. Focus. Mana Void. He's dead again. Another big pick. EG continue to punish Black. And these deaths he can ill afford. He's now starting to really slip behind in net worth.
Yeah, I mean, you don't... he almost got the IO. He was incredibly close, but that's 2 deaths now that he's had just because of his mistakes being aggressive, and those are just unacceptable as a hard carry.
And now Nuts, well, he wants to deward. EG, they're still here. They have not gone home. He drops the rock. Feels almost desperate. They at least got to get this crit kill. He's able to get Force Staffed away. Sumail there with the save, and now looking for the turn. They will manage to steal Burrow Strike. Now this could be big, Kevin. probably the best spell in the game for Rubik to steal. Very low cooldown, extremely long duration stun with mobility, and he's now got a blink.
Yeah, another kill for himself. So
can
huge amounts of
XY play
disable.
the carry? Because it seems like he might need to.
He's doing well this game. I have some faith in him here, especially if they can get Sumail. God, that would be good. 2 seconds to disable the lift. Another 2 seconds from the burrow strike. He's close.
Sumail, he knows. XY, he burrows in. He's got real nervous there. Even if they catch him, that might have just been too far to dive anyway.
Yeah, he would have had to use burrow into lift to pull him back, so just for the mobility aspect. But the longer he has this, the more dangerous it is for EG, especially for squishy heroes like Coddle as well as Io. If there's any other hero that does damage, the amount of disable he has guarantees a kill every time.
Arteezy mowing down that tower bottom, then just blinking away. Back to the woods he'll go. Up to 1,000 gold, so we'll see what the next pickup for him. Does he go straight into the Manta or not? Soon we'll find out. Black
I'm scared of
engaging
him.
on Arteezy. Last few times we've seen this, it hasn't ended well, but Arteezy doesn't really know what's behind the Weaver, lacking the vision, so he'll back off.
Would have been great for Black if he ran into Keeper of the Light. That could have been a kill, definitely, but no such luck for him. He's going to, or at least Ice is going to push out the bot lane. Black rotating back mid. Definitely farming much slower than his opponents right now. Just a natural feature of Weaver, but also because whenever he rotates, sometimes he dies, so he's got to be careful. At least Jabs is caught up finally with the rest of his team, but we're clearly seeing some separation in terms of farm, similar to the last game.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the big cores of EG, the OD and the Anti-Mage, they are combined 4, 0, and 8. They've yet to die. And they've been, on top of that, topping the CS chart, so getting a lot of farm. But here comes a big item for Faceless. Bloodstone now picked up. They're going to make their move towards the bottom lane, hoping for a Zai kill.
It's a great item, and it's also a dangerous item this game because it increases his total mana pool. So
that gap closing potential with a big blink into a burrow. Faceless find one. They also force a TP reaction out. So very nicely done by them.
That's just so dirty. That's like...
Good news for them is the spell's going to disappear soon. It's only a level 1 spell steal.
That's 500 damage, 5 seconds of stun, or about 4 seconds of stun. Really strong.
And for Universe, he does have that value point in Sandstorm. So now he can potentially just prevent Rubik from stealing the burrow.
Yeah. But again, there's still great things to steal. Blink on Anti-Mage could be useful. Help him catch heroes more often. And for the first time in a while, in multiple games, that is Faceless finally putting some pressure when EG can't also
Universe
get something
wants
out
to
of
fight
it.
this, though. There is no glyph available any longer. Looks like they're going to let it go. If they go tier 2, he's definitely jumping in.
Yeah, especially if they group up a little bit. He's got to be careful. They have to be at least a little spread.
You can see Faceless are expecting that backstab as they did scan their own jungle. And they're not going to commit too much further to mid. Just Black sticking around.
Kind of an interesting item build. He goes for Dragonlance here. I don't know. It's a pretty good Linken's game, really. Just due to things like Mana Void, Burrow Strike would be great to stop. Even Astral can also be really problematic sometimes. But I think he might just have to go for items that are more efficient like this just because he's behind. He's got to get as much value as he can right now so he wins team fights, and that gets him back into the game. But as a whole, Faceless is actually farming decently well now. They've got 3 cores that just passed the Sand King, whereas before Sand King was ahead of most of them. So this could be the projection they want.
TZ starting to take over the jungle and trying to win that passive farm battle. Did go for the Yasha. So Manta coming soon. Meanwhile, Ice getting wrapped on. Now remember, they have a relocate, so this is a 4-hero gank if they want to bring in Sumail. And they might find Ice momentarily. TP comes in. It's about to be 5. Chains back, but if he goes too far, he's going to walk in. Zai TPing away to top. So they're not going to go for Ice.
Kind of makes
Again,
sense.
Vision's an issue, Kevin. They don't see anything really all the way back until that lane ward. But that's quite far away, and no idea if anyone came up the ramp through the jungle.
Yeah, and Faceless also doing a small smoke just with the 2 supports and through the jungle. Maybe a little unlikely to succeed since they need some kind of damage, and maybe Rubik could steal something, but kind of scary there.
Still invis with the smoke now revealed. They don't actually have vision. And they do grab an additional blink here. Sumail picking his up, so some really long-range gap closing for EG.
Now it all comes down to reactions. Who stuns who first? Can Rubik blink dodge something? Or Radiant Scan being used. It's going to spot Black rotating up, but will they expect the whole team? Ooh, very close. Jab's almost dying.
They do summon the Tinker to hold the line in EG. Not wanting to push into the... I mean, this is dirty. Fate Bolt and March.
Yeah.
A lot of deep push for Faceless. Even the Chakram.
Yeah, but both teams have really good vision right now. XY placed an observer ward a little deep here, and EG with another ward very close to the enemy tower in an unpredictable place. So it's going to be hard for the fights to start like that when both teams expect where their opponents are.
I think you made a good point that Faceless are, doing a good job of stemming the bleeding. Yeah, they're down about 4K gold, but it's not getting worse for now. EG are pulling a little ahead in terms of experience, but for the time being, they don't forfeit these tier 2s. They still have some ability to project force around the map, and EG haven't found that big, decisive fight to let them completely seize momentum.
And they're getting to a better place, too, for fights. I mean, point booster on Rubik, the faster that Tinker gets his Ags can change a lot as well, just because it'll increase the amount of AoE damage he does, and then it just comes down to Nuts being able to cast a good Fatal Bonds. I'm almost even thinking about him getting an Aether Lens this game, just because if he lands a good Fatal Bonds, every single rocket spam that comes out just ends the game. So they just kind of need vision and a good Fatal Bonds, and Tinker should be able to clean up after that.
The pin comes out. Maybe Universe got a glimpse of Black there, not sure, but Black gonna leap away. Now to 2,600 gold. Are you expecting just the Desolator at this point? Do you think there's anything else he could go for?
It worked
you mentioned
very well
the
first
Lincolns,
game, that's
but
for sure.
He's not buying components yet.
Yeah, that's a great point. He does have some coverage, I guess with Warlock heal, but Lincoln's is a safer move. But this game, I kind of just needs damage, I think.
Ice, 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 caught out bottom. He tries to chain away. The Mana Leak instantly stuns him. He's out of mana entirely. Oh, God, and then gets blasted back again. But he is still tanky. Crit trying to give pursuit here. Now Tinker coming in. We could have a big rumble in the jungle momentarily. Keep in mind, Anti-Mage also has a TP with a freshly completed Manta. They still have Epicenter, and EG, speaking of deep push, they've got a lot of their own with the Keeper of the Light. They're not going to give this tower up for free. Do Faceless dare to contest?
Sumail doesn't have a TP here, so because he relocated back top, Faceless could try to take a fight bottom, but much like it was difficult for EG to take their tower, they're going to have to deal with Keeper of the Light Blast that's going to nuke the waves down. So
RTZ kind of thinking about a move in here. He's going to be scouted by a Warlock illusion. Tinker going to BOT back now to the bottom lane. So they continue their jungle invasion.
I mean, Faceless is holding the line kind of right now, but every moment that nothing happens in terms of tower deaths or ganks, that there's Anti-Mage somewhere just getting insane farm. And that's what's happening. He's completely pulling ahead right now. And if this continues for 10 more minutes or something, they're not even going to be able to kill RTZ.
I mean, how do they even, now even to kill him, they have to lift. They probably need a Stolen Burrow. They have to drop the rock, probably Fatal Bonds, and for sure, the Timber Saw has to be there for all the pure damage.
Absolutely.
It's already hard, Kevin.
It is, but they have to get something going, and it's all going to take vision, and that's what they're getting a hold of at least a little bit. Great ward on the cliff, one on the mid lane. Maybe they can spot some rotations, but they almost need to ward their own side of the map. That's
all right, they're going to see him. This is like the dream scenario to kill up Arteezy in the mid lane. They try to lock him down. He still blinks away, and it's to the north.
They got vision.
They chase, though, with the bugs. The shotgun coming through. Chain connects. Faceless, a desperately needed kill to stem the tide, and with that, Deso complete. Bloodstone charges for Ice, Ice, Ice. The graph finally takes a noticeable dip downwards.
It's a great gank. The big fixture that really secured that was the stolen blink for Rubik, so he could chase, and especially the Weaver bugs. They knew exactly where his hero went as soon as he blinked away, because half the time you blink into trees or you blink up a cliff, you don't know where the guy went because he spins in his animation. But that kill was huge for them. 497 gold just for the kill, and I'm sure that gold was split a bit due to AoE.
Oh, Faceless staying to Roshan. Courtesy of the bugs and the Deso. They take this quite quickly. Who do you imagine they give it to here?
Ice Ice is a decent target, but Black also skips survivability items. Maybe they put it on him instead. It looks like it's going to be Ice Ice based on their positioning.
Meanwhile, EG trying to pressure bottom while this Roche happens. They do use the relocate crit. Will he get blown up in time? Push back and forth, explodes right as he's about to relocate out, and that means Sumail left on an island for now. He was Glimmer Cape. They dropped the rock, but he's able to skirt past it. Instead, Zai going to take the bullet for the team. The support's down. The Anti-Mage only now respawning. Sumail, though, will TP away, and Universe already out of there.
Faceless getting some stuff done. I mean,
don't call it a comeback just yet,
it's
starting to be one.
They got 2 support kills. They wasted the rock trying to catch an OD. A little unfortunate for them, but
they also got Roshan.
But they also got Roshan and an Aegis. So even though that fight didn't go amazing, it went very well, and it could just allow the next fight to go well now that they have Aegis on Weaver. So it's looking pretty good.
Bloodstone charges starting to ramp up. Ice, Ice, Ice getting a blink, so they're chasing potential in the AM. Does improve. But here comes Jabs TPing onto this top tower. Arteezy's going to try to hunt him in the trees. He eats through one. He has the Basher now. Jabs has to be careful. One more blink forward. Oh, just in time. Makes it out of there.
he's going to look for it. Doesn't actually spot them, but
Arteezy, though, starting to flex his muscles, and Faceless really do have to be careful not to give him a free kill on this Tinker.
yeah, once you get a basher, it's just really straightforward, especially if you use Manta to remove the laser. You've got a Tinker kill once you get one bash. Just got to stop the rearm or the TP out, and it's a dead one. Although he's got Ags, I guess, so if the Manta's used too early, he can blind.
Universe trying to farm his own woods. Could get punished here as Black moves in. Ice, Ice, Ice jumping forward as well. They're going to commit the Chakram for this. Now the Yules. Follow-up coming through. Rockets onto Crit, dropping him a bit lower. Now the Glimmer back, and Faceless ramping up the offense in the EG jungle. And it's up to Arteezy to relieve that pressure as he split pushes top. Mantas, and with that Manta on cooldown, will jump away. Ice, Ice, Ice. The man that can really bring the pain, forcing him back.
Yeah, it's so good at killing the anti-mage illusions. Normally very resistant to damage, but pure damage cuts right through, and isn't going to be until AM picks up something like a heart that Timbersaw becomes worse against it. I really feel like Ice Ice could
Speaking
carry
of
this
which,
game.
he goes for the Vitality booster, so not sure yet if it's going to be a heart or just completing the full Abyssal straight away, but I mean, honestly, he's only taken the 1-pointed spell shield. He just got his second. And I think it speaks that they do have a lot of pure damage here between the Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, they really do. I mean,
and the Timbersaw. You're just dishing out insane amounts.
well, a lot of it could definitely be things like March the Machine and Rocket Spam, though. It's something he'll have to be concerned about. It will be the Fast Abyssal. Great choice just because it helps him solo kill heroes like Tinker. If he does blink on top of them, he doesn't even have to get lucky with a bash. He's just, you're stunned, I'm going to kill you, and I'm usually going to Mana Void to finish you off.
So XY, meanwhile, has stolen Astral. Almost has an Aghanims complete.
He's had a great game from a support perspective. Great Ags to pick up as well. He can steal spells more rapidly. They sometimes have extra benefit. Sand King Brostrike, for example. Ags benefit. Anything else? That's about it, I guess.
OD ulti.
OD ulti. You're so
dream.
right. Can banish the whole enemy team and do damage afterwards.
Oh, man. I remember, I think I cast like a 90-minute game where we
they're
theorized a
gonna
lot
grab
about that, but hold that thought, because mid lane, they're moving on to Sumail. He has the BKB. They're going to force out the 10-second charge, and now they want the disengage. Arteezy still pushing top. Universe bottom do get out with Black. They do pop the Aegis, but that BKB is down now, and Ice, Ice, Ice on the hunt. He's going to find one, make it two. They go splat. EG getting a little bit overconfident. They blow their BKB. The relocate wasn't available in that fight, it looked like.
He also got killed really fast.
And he died real damn fast.
Once Ice 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 went high ground, the Whirling Death just reduced his total HP, and another huge kill, and that was a BKB charge, and all they traded for that was an Aegis.
And he can't buy back, Kevin. Faceless can threaten high ground here.
Black can definitely ping the building a little, but oh, he's going to go for the initiation.
Big jump forward by Ice Ice Ice. A quick little zap from XY. Does have the Astral follow-up, but Arteezy cut the wave mid earlier, so they don't really have many creeps to work with. Ice 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 also almost out of mana. Still sticking around.
Yeah, they're going to have to back in a moment here. The backdoor protection will kick in, and that's it for their push. Very nice play by Arteezy, and that's really the big threat of Anti-Mage. It seems so small right now. Just nothing happening. Arteezy not really killing heroes, just farming. But this is the effect. That should have maybe been a building down to 50% or lower. And
He really wants to go on Ice Ice Ice.
And that's the next stage. Pretty soon he's going to start killing people by himself.
But the whole team streaming in. They're going to get here. Arteezy dealing with the Chakram for now. The relocate comes through. They connect on the Burrow, but little do they know a massive array of backup is coming in. They have the Rock ready. They kill Ice Ice Ice, but now they need to get out. He suicides, and Arteezy scrambles away. Crit to the south, Arteezy to the north and to the east. Into the trees he goes. He blinks back, and they will successfully assassinate the Timbersaw and live to tell the tale.
Sort of. He ended up using his Bloodstone before that. He was moments away from getting Anti-Mage ulted, so good choice by him. I do like that he was a little aggressive there, trying to set it up for his team. So loses some Bloodstone charges, maybe some gold, but looks like he maybe bought out before that too. So still looking pretty good for Faceless. Their farm levels are looking solid. They've got 3 heroes that are pushing into core levels. EG is only going to have a 2-core lineup this game, and it doesn't look like Sumail's going to be able to solo carry this one, like usual.
All right, Rubik Eggs. Now it's the 2-second spell steal.
That's so fast. If the potential is so limitless with this, it's really amazing. Cast a spell, steal somebody's spell, cast that spell, steal another spell.
But you have to be like the character in that movie and react as quickly and decisively to make it work, because he is still fairly frail and squishy. His eye's going to move in onto Jabs, tries to focus him down. They don't have their anti-mage for this fight. Keep it light down early. And into the trees goes Sumail. They recognize if he's moving in like that, there must have been backup. And Ice 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 gonna find a huge catch, but XY also gets picked off at the same time. Nuts thinking about the rock drop.
Blink.
Hanging on to it. Sumail gonna blink and tries to get away. Arteezy starting to corral Ice Ice Ice, moves into position, has the no more Mana Void. He already used on the Rubik, but they relocate and they end up taking a 2-for-1.
I thought that they were going to commit to the OD kill there, but Timbersaw doing the right thing and getting out tons of backup from EG with that one.
They're just so damn mobile with the recall, the relocate.
Yeah.
2 mobility items on Sand King.
I felt like he was by
Blink.
himself, but all of a sudden everybody's there, and Timbersaw is dying easy. So
Those dots converge rather quickly.
Weaver a little bit in trouble mid. He's got a BKB if things get really scary. He might have to time-lapse. Yeah, he's going to have to. He easily would have died if he didn't time-lapse there. He didn't want a BKB. I think that was a pretty safe move, but he's going to be off the map for about 30 seconds as he heals.
Well, top lane, Ice 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 starting to get to work on Arteezy. Not going to do much more than force him back.
Now, what do you think Tinker's going to get now? Normally we see Aether Lens with Ags, but there's so
Against
much
AM,
mobility,
though.
I don't think you need it. Like, why not get...
Straight Hex, I would say, is still pretty viable against AM.
Yeah, I think so too, because it actually gives them a way to guarantee kill AM if they catch him.
And for EG, there's really no sign of a Lotus Orb universe, buying the Yule's recipe for now. So they don't have a... I guess their best Hex solution is just going to be relocate.
Yeah, probably true. Force Staff, I guess, on the OD
That's
could work,
true.
but... You know, considering how solo Anti-Mage has been playing, if they get some wards in good places and spot some of his movements, the Hex could be instrumental.
I mean, I feel like they already have plenty of D-push, so I don't see him needing a Shiva's Guard. He's still going to drive fast to the Mana Void, even with a Shiva's anyway.
Yeah.
And I would agree, I'm not sure about Aether Lens at this point.
Maybe not Ghost Scepter. It's kind of slot expensive for now. There's a lot of options. He doesn't quite have the money anyways.
And then your Mana Void can really hurt.
But they're about to take a fight here. They spot crit. Ice Ice revealed the smoke too.
Moving on to the IO, but Arteezy there in reserve. They're going to lift him. Can they follow this up? Good nuke damage, but do they have the range on Nuts to get in position and finish him off with the rock? Not going to happen. Crit away to the south, but Black is there pumping in the Desolate damage. We'll find the kill. Arteezy, though, away towards mid, and meanwhile, Universe pushing out bottom. So EG, more and more, starting to play the game of rats.
Well, on the bright side, at least, they can pull Arteezy to his jungle to safely continue farming, so his net worth isn't going to be impacted too much from that. Just another death on the IO. Definitely significant, though. He's got Ghost Scepter for survivability, but there's so many nukes on Faceless, and you're really seeing just how dangerous Ice Ice is on this hero once he gets a Blink Dagger. Just jumps on people and blows them up if they don't have an instant stun, and that's really what EG's lacking.
Oh, this poor Tinker. Little does he know the trap they've laid for him. They've got the Hill Ward down bottom. Wouldn't be surprised to see one top later.
They're moving in, though.
And you've got to relocate, a recall potentially, but they are going to see Arteezy. Ice 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 comes in. Does he know that this is a full trap? XY's there as well. They're going to lock him down, hold him in position, drop him low. Epicenter coming through, and the whole EG team about to arrive. They get the kill. He drops the Mana Void in his death throes, and now the rock comes down a bit later. Crit with the Ghost after trying to survive, but the Sakuchi finishes him off. EG on the run. Sumail already committed the BKB, and looks like he should be able to make it out, but they finally have done it. They've slain the beast for the first time, and God, it must have been 15 minutes since he last died.
Yeah, it's just the Epicenter came just a fraction too late. If Timber didn't get that full combo off on the AM before he got stunned, and the Burst Strike I think even missed if I'm not mistaken. Timber was able to do his full combo, AM gets killed because all of the pure damage, and another great fight for Faceless. Every time AM dies, it gives them a lot of swing back in their favor, and because they have more heroes to profit from it, and more item slots on those heroes, they will eventually outcarry EG if they don't get split pushed to death.
Do you feel like EG should be playing this differently? They've been mostly... We'll see the fight again here as Arteezy does get caught. Universe kind of waiting. XY gets off the lift. The Epicenter comes through. But yeah, the Burrow completely whiffs. And with that, Arteezy dropping the Mana Void almost kills Black. He time-lapses it off, and at that point, it's already a lost fight. Yeah, also, Sumail did not have his ultimate until he was TPing out, so they didn't have the OD ult to work with there.
Yeah, pretty big mistake there with the Burrow Strike miss, but sometimes you just make little mistakes like that, and it costs you your carry. So I guess they could play this a little differently, maybe go for more offensive kills, but it takes a lot of focus for them to kill Timbersaw. It's going to take minimum an OD or an Anti-Mage. The other heroes don't have the damage for high HP single target heroes.
All right, the 35-minute Midas.
What?
Nuts.
Okay.
Nuts is going for late
Okay.
game. I mean, if it goes ultra late,
It's okay.
I think Faceless are in pretty good shape at that point.
Yeah, I think so too. And Warlock's definitely a hero that doesn't need a whole lot of items. Just with Tranquil Boots here, he's fast. He's got enough regen with Urn. And the Midas is more just to give him levels because, you know, he gets so many stats per level, you might as well just level up a bunch and make his golem better and guarantee himself an item.
Oh, Arteezy just blinked forward. This could be the setup. They do have an IO behind him. They're going to start off with the rocket. They go for the banish follow-up, trying to prep for the whole team to get in position. Now they can lift. Arteezy is getting lifted. Even though he manta, they have to relocate him out. That should mean a free IO kill, but look who's coming to try and potentially counter gank. It's Universe. He's rather far back. Could be the tether target out. We'll have to see if they even converge. They are going to make their move onto Crit, slowing him down and focusing him down. Black grabbed that Diffusal Blade, so has a counter for the Ghost Scepter now.
Okay, pretty good pickup for him. Still lacking some HP, but it's definitely getting a lot of really useful items. Big item pickup on EG, though, is definitely the Scythe of Ice on OD. That is going to change ganks a lot for EG, and if they don't get heavy on movement around the map and trying to set up those ganks, I'd be very surprised.
And EG now have the reliable disables here, right? They've got the Abyssal Blade, the Blink Hex, and you've got the Blink Burrow Strike. Faceless do have a good setup spell in the Blink Lift, but do they have the follow-up? Well, it's going to be a little tougher for them in the upcoming fights.
And very similar situation coming from Jabs. He's only about 400 away from finishing his Hex. Big difference, though, is he gets to rearm that and cast it multiple times in a team fight. So I think this game's very even in a lot of ways.
It's really tough for EG, right? Like, who do you focus the Tinker? If not, you're getting chain hexed. Do you focus XY? If not, he's got an Ags and could just go nuts.
Yeah. If you don't go on Ice, he's going to jump on your backline and blow up either Caudle or IO almost instantly. Similar with Black, always aiming for the supports that are easy to kill.
It's getting tougher and tougher for EG to find those easy kills, but at the same time, their damage continues to ramp up to meet the task. Butterfly now complete on Arteezy. Getting close to finished farming anti-mage status.
Yeah. Killing him is very difficult now, and just moving around the map rapidly is even easier for him. It's pretty much all down to Timbersaw damage-wise and Black, I guess. I mean, they're so diversified. It's great. They have multiple types of... they got pure damage from Tinker and Magic. From Black, they've got massive physical. From Ice, they have tons of pure. There's not really an easy way for them to build against it other than going for like a BKB on Anti-Mage. Not something you ever really want to do. You'd rather grab a higher value item.
Especially since you have an IO, and one of the ways you might expect to get out of a gank is the relocate save. So BKB could be a double-edged sword indeed.
I just feel like the hero picks that EG went for here with the Caudle, especially, it was meant to be against a Timbersaw thing, but the lane net setup never really did that, and because of that, Faceless got off to a good start, and now they're kind of stuck with the Caudle and what he does, which is really split push, anti-push, stuff like that. It's useful, but it's not helping them get kills in the mid-game like they needed.
Arteezy is on the warpath into the trees. XY blinking out. Nuts is trapped there. They've already lost their Tinker, but he's coming right back onto the catapult. He blinks to the north. Suddenly, he's the one who might be in a bit too far. They are on a mission to hunt, but Crit also TPing away. Anti-Mage scrambling north, wants to cut the waves again, and you can see EG more and more just spreading the map, pushing the lanes in, and if they go for fights, they're very surgical ganks. They're not trying to take these head-on team fights much any longer.
I love how they're doing this. He just shows up briefly mid, already starts the recall, kills one creep wave to prevent any more pushing there, and just gone. Off to farm again.
They know how scary it is to fight into Fatal Bonds, the Tinker nukes with the Ags, the AoE damage the Timbersaw brings. Not worth the risk, it seems.
Might as well just farm as many heroes as possible, grab more items. I mean, Arteezy's still out farming everybody.
But Faceless, it's been back and forth, but they do hold a very minimal advantage.
I'm still a little unsure about Jabs' farm rate. He's still pretty far behind. It took him a while to finish the Scythe. Great item, but
top lane, Blink Burrow onto Ice to start things off. They're going to mono-leak him, and while that was happening, Nuts got assassinated because they got some deep wards in the woods.
Yeah, easy kill with the Hex there. They're going to try to grab Ice as well. Oh, he's TPing. Okay, we'll stop that.
And they're at least going to chafe him a little bit. They go for the banish. Universe getting into position here. Doesn't quite have the burrow strike range. The nuke damage from Sumail with the orbs heavy. And meanwhile, an assassination on the mid lane as Arteezy able to bring down Black's Weaver. Jabs into the trees. Doesn't have the range for the Hex.
It's one of those
Arteezy's out of there.
Where you wish you had a link on Weaver instead of a BKB. So if he blinks on you from darkness and drops the Abyssal, it's over. And just a couple big kills there for Faceless.
EG want to end this game real soon. They buy the BKB on Anti-Mage. Arteezy, no TP, doesn't think he's going to need it, and now they make the jump on Ice 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 in the mid lane. They pop that Aegis. Do they stick around for round 2? That's the big question with Jabs here, laying down the march. He'll blink out immediately. And they do steal something here for the Rubik, just the Chakra Magic. It's pretty good against AM, I guess, in theory, to counter the Mana Void. But
yeah,
not the Dream Spell.
Maybe there's got to be something else you can cycle with it, like Ice 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 double Chakram or something. Could really help with Tinker, actually. Increases mana pool, more spells. But really they're going to go back in.
Big bleep forward. Arteezy, he has a BKB. Didn't even need to use it there. Got off the Abyssal Snipe and brains down nuts on the Warlock. Now Sumail chasing forward. There's a Glimmer Cape, though, to keep XY alive. Will they re-engage? They have the stolen anti-mage blink. XY leaping forward. He's going to steal it again. But EG starting to find pickoff after pickoff now.
Faceless really needs some Force Staffs or something, because whenever somebody gets hexed, it's just an indefensible hero for a couple seconds.
Yeah, all they have is the Glimmer Cape, and if EG have detection, even that won't amount to much.
So all their heroes fairly vulnerable, have great damage, but now not as survivable as they'd like.
Oh, Arteezy. Did he get a glimpse of that TP? He wants to make a go in this bottom lane, perhaps.
There's many heroes here, though.
He's going to see Ice Ice Ice. XY's there. They're playing Whack-A-Mole in the jungle, but Universe could be the trump card. Blinks in with the stun onto XY. But meanwhile, using the Glimmer Cape, he's able to dodge the incoming damage. BKB committed, but not getting too many auto techs up. But he sees XY. He gets the bash. He gets the kill. And with that, on to Black. They'll find him as well. It's 2. The fight's snowballing out of control. They might need to buy back here. They've dropped the rock. They're committing for this, but Arteezy, just not being dealt with, continues to maul Ice 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 out of mana. And now the OD Hammer coming down, blinking up and away. Again, the 2-hero burrow. Where's the buyback for Black? He's not opting to use it. The team's getting massacred. 4 have fallen. They commit the rock. It's basically all 5 heroes dead, with Warlock just a walking Fatal Bonds at this point. Finally, Tinker buys back, but the damage already done.
Yeah, they got pretty much everything they wanted in that fight, and it was always a can Faceless stay alive for a couple seconds, regroup, and go back in, and they never got the chance to fully regroup there. Just the pressure continued, and again, another big disable hitting Weaver. He wasn't able to get his BKB off in time. It might have been a Burrow Strike into a Hex, something like that, but...
And it's where, like you said earlier, like great Linken's game, if he has a Linken's that's guaranteed to block one of those disables, maybe he lives. But
with that said, though, there's a lot of Force Staffs flying around lately. They could just blink Hurricane Pike into a disable as well, so... these guys are good enough to break that almost instantly, so Black just needs to get his BKB off in time. Otherwise, we're seeing almost no impact from him this late in the game.
All right, so now the Linken's picked up for Sumail. BKB Linken's, kind of an old school Pinoy build here. Super defensive.
Very good. We'll stop Hexes is the big one, really. Yule Scepters, I guess. Rubik Lift. There's a lot of great spells that they can stop with that. Fatal Bonds would be incredible, too, if you can block that one.
EG getting to critical mass. They're almost done farming here on the OD and the anti-mage. The rest of the lineup doesn't really scale that much better, so it feels like they're on the clock to try and end this game, Kevin. Or at least their ideal timing window is now.
Yeah, it's definitely very soon. So Face is going to have to start playing really defensive, and this is where, you know, EG is going to keep getting some farm. Not so much on anti-mage's side. He's just about maxed out. Just good 6,000 gold, and he's got pretty much nothing else that he can't buy. And then from there, just Sumail finishing out an item or two, and the supports can always grab more. Especially Zai will be happy with some downtime.
Arteezy with the DD rune. This is going to be a quick kill if XY gets caught. Does manage to plant that obs. By the way, I don't think we've seen a single gem yet. We're now 44 minutes in. This Universe will get picked off, but it's pretty unusual to see a game go this late and no one grab a gem.
You know what I think it is that Black's just been getting chain stunned. Like, he's the one invis here, with the exception of something like the Glimmer Cape has been useful on Rubik, but...
I just mean for dewarding, honestly.
But even then, does it? Yeah. They're not trying to fight, right? Vision is important for a little bit of split pushing, but the movement of EG has been, you know, just a ward here or there, know where they are. You don't really need to break their vision of you, I feel.
Yeah, they certainly don't seem scared. You can see Sumail prowling around Invis, hoping for pickoffs. Go back to farming that mid lane.
And always crit close behind in case he needs to save somebody. It's the big difference between the two lineups is that whenever somebody on Faceless gets initiated on, they kind of just die, usually. No backups there with Force Staffs or whatever.
Arteezy closing in on Moonshard and buyback money if he wants it.
Yeah. What do you think Black's going to get here? Another damage item. Is it too crazy to say get Ags here?
Ags could be good. What else? Butterfly, maybe?
Or Linken's. Could be about time for that one.
Yeah, even a late link. I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's
Abyssal
fine.
Blade and the Mana Void are the main ways he's dying. Maybe a Hex or Burrow.
Yeah, will be
Like,
Linkens.
blocking any of those spells is huge.
Yeah, I think this is completely reasonable. Maybe sell Dragonlance next, or maybe upgrade it too, actually. Couldn't be too terrible.
Bottom lane making their move here. They're going to try to isolate Zai, but he has a Glimmer Cape. Does Faceless have detection because the reinforcements are coming in? They bring down XY, and now they get the bash on Ice. That's going to be 2 dead. He will suicide. Didn't even get the Mana Void off, but that also means it's going to be ready for this next fight.
Yeah, and they may have to buy back if they continue this push. At the least, it should be a dead tier 2.
Maybe hoping for Roche. It could be up momentarily. In fact, I think would be up before the Timbersaw respawns. Only 30 seconds until the Roche is up. But they're going to take the tier 2 bottom, like you said, and don't see Faceless, as of yet, contesting. They seem to want to hold the high ground.
I like Timbersaw's build a lot, but I think he needed to go for a Lotus Orb instead of Linken's here. That might have been better. Black showing off his newly minted Linken's. Pretty happy with that one, I'm sure.
Arteezy showing off his Battle Fury, dropping it at the tower. Little celebration.
I mean, pretty soon.
Ice style drop there.
He's going to have an Aegis, so I mean.
Yeah. And he's already eaten a Moon Shard, by the way, up to another 4K gold. So this is a fully 7-slotted anti-mage in his prime. Really doesn't get any bigger than this.
So if he's going to do the right thing, it's going to be buy all the Observers, all the TP Scrolls, all of the Sentry Wards, all the Smokes.
I can hear that, like, slightly
I mean, it's
salty support player
it's
like,
been,
in you, Kevin.
do they need 8,000 gold LD? They don't, okay? This isn't an
But think of
Alchemist
the
game,
memes, Kevin. The
That's
memes.
true. The memes
Did
are...
you see Mushi at TI3 when he bought like 5 BKBs?
The memes are important, but my point is that he's not an Alchemist. It's been a while, I feel like, since we've seen a Ultra 6-slotted hero that can't buy anything else. It's always been buy Ags, buy Ags, buy Ags. But this is an anti-mage, man. This guy can't get anything else for his personal benefit other than buyback money. It's time to help the supports get items, and that's one small way that you can help.
No excuses, Artur. I don't want to hear it from you.
Observer Wards are bust.
Well, for now, he's probably just wishing he could buy another item slot.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
he could carry those boots. Using the butterfly to just phase around the enemy jungle a bit faster. He does ping out this top lane. They've even got a lane ward. Ice. Oh, he's lucky. Almost gets caught there by Arteezy. Does have his observer ward on the high ground to scout that out.
I mean, I'm just looking at Timber here, and he's so vulnerable. He's got tons of HP, and he's got tons of offense. But if he gets stunned and Anti-Mage is there, he's just going to get blown up.
Well, speaking of that Anti-Mage, taking good chakram damage. They get off the lift to try and lock him down a bit further. He will be banished now. Resetting the fight a little. Still has the BKB and the Aegis available. They're going to hex him. Can they chain it, though? The Linken's there, and that will interrupt and allow for the reset. And with the IO, if you don't actually kill him, he's going to be right back to full health.
Yeah, no kidding.
By the way, they also have a cheese on the IO, so keep in mind that the tethered cheese play could come out.
And the Caudal Illuminate as well, giving him a ton of health every couple seconds.
Ags has been completed for good old Gandalf, and now Arteezy moving in. He gets lifted. They try to focus the backlines, but Sumail has a BKB. You can't focus him either. They drop the rock, but it's a banished banished hero for now that they can't bring down. Crit survives through it. Good play on the backlines. Arteezy going hard. He's already brought down the Tinker. He's now going to look for Nuts as well. Nuts down in the fountain. Even without boots, he just marches inexorably forward. The anti-mage is happening, and they just don't seem to have the answers.
Oh, the game looked so much better for Faceless here, and their mid-game looked great, but just a couple too many pickoffs in the late game. Their heroes weren't as strong, and the Hex pickup just guaranteed so many kills. And it looks like that's going to be it for Faceless. They got one hero left. It's Black, but he's by himself. I do not see him stopping 5 heroes.
He's going to try one bold last stand for the Little Weaver.
It'll
the
work.
bug that could. Come on, Black, we believe in you, baby. But he gets stunned. He almost gets focused, able to Sakuchi away. Arteezy says, fine, I'll kill your throne then instead. But the laser's going to slow this down. They will Astral. One last hurrah as the Hex comes out. The celebratory do. Faceless have been eliminated. Not from the tournament, but from contention for that top 2 spot.
Yeah, so that guarantees that EG does not get 4th seed. That's going to be left to Faceless. A little surprising. Some people thought that they were going to do quite well at this tournament, but played at the Summit, had some inconsistent results, won some games, but lost all series. And I think this is the EG that we're expecting to see. And with this, like, take an advantage, take control of the map, and just collect farm until you're in a commanding lead, and then you finally end the game.
So overall, looking at the game, I think it's fair to say lost all 3 lanes. Not horribly, but all 3 cores free farmed on EG or close to it. The tri-lane did not shut Anti-Mage down. do you feel like they should have gotten more done then? Is it just all down to that late game execution, or where specifically would you say it went wrong?
Definitely the laning is a big aspect for sure. I think Timbersaw did more than fine, but in the mid lane it could have gone better. But that's Sumail. Almost everybody is gonna be like that against him. And in the off lane, they absolutely had to get some kills. At least their first gank rotations went well, and then the first couple mid game fights were great. ISSI setting up a lot of that, but laning stage seems to consistently be the problem.
I think it's the new haircut, Alex. Sumail has been on fire since he got the new do. He dyed the hair.
Cool.
He's been out of control. That's my theory anyway. I'm sticking to it.
I like that theory. I don't know if we're up.
Well, I hear you.
Oh.
I can't
hey.
see you though.
You can hear me. Hey, I like that theory. Is what I was trying. I was telling you. Yeah, hair color and power level, perhaps.
I don't know if this is the over 9,000 one, but he's getting to that point.
Well, what hair colors has he been through? Is this the first venture?
Second, he went blonde.
He went
for a
blonde.
little bit,
He's
and
green. His normal hair color.
No,
Okay.
it's Monster Gaming green. Get it right.
Oh, Monster Gaming Green.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can take a leaf out of Rose's book and just go for like super mega pink, and then we'll see what happens there.
Please no.
No. Please no, says Cap, of course joined by none other than Fogged and Shiva. Thanks very much, LD and Purge. Okay. Whew. Let's kind of let's break this one down, because EG still do look demoralized. They picked it up. We said they'd do so. And it just seems like a really empty victory. Faceless do fall and will be conceding that fourth seed. We knew that was an incoming fate, a predictable or a likely outcome of this game. Faceless taking that fourth and will meet potentially DC, VP, or OG.
I think mostly EG might look down because I feel like they should have probably won this game earlier than they did. I do like that goes all to credit to Faceless. So we had Jabs at a really rough mid lane on his Tinker, and Tinkers, they kind of need to hit their timings, otherwise they have a rough time recovering. But Jabs could recover because Ice was a beast on his Timbersaw, and he created all the space that was needed and made this game as long as it ended up being. Overall, though, I mean, EG, I don't think they should be too sad. They still had a good victory. It was still 2-0. They still have to play another series, which might be a little bit more sad for them. But
Fogged, you get that juicy rematch.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they're bitter. That's probably why they're a bit salty. Like, we shouldn't have to be playing this last game. We should be able to relax right now. We got a rematch against Complexity.
And there's almost so much more on the line now, because if it happens twice, I feel like it's the first time you can kind of shrug it off.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, if you talk to the EG players, they're also very chill.
They
Like,
are,
yeah.
Zai is like one of the chillest, funniest guys you'll meet. Crit is very relaxed as well. It's not like Sumail's going to be popping off a whole lot. Like, that guy is, he's a little bit of flame and ego sometimes in pubs, but in person he's, very relaxed. He's not going to be real loud.
For sure, yeah. I mean, let's not read too much into it, but we can understand a little bit as to where EG's victory did come from. You guys were, all eyes on Anti-Mage, and RTZ did his job. It seemed to be that's exactly what you said to me, Fogg. You just looked at me and were like, yeah, RTZ did his job.
Yeah, that's all he had to really do in this game is farm, hit his timings, and then they can just kind of go. Like, Sumail kind of did the same thing too. They had the lineup that takes it later, takes it late, takes it mid game as well. It was really hard for Faceless to really come back into this game. It's like they had to come out really far ahead into the lanes. Like Shiva mentioned too, your Tinker needs to have his timings really well suited. But yeah, it's a super tough game for them to actually be able to do anything into an anti-mage. It's great. It was a great AM pick.
That dive into like the tier 3 area, I think that was like the most questionable part of the game for Evil Geniuses, because they didn't quite have the Abyssal Blade yet, and Faceless Void was kind of Faceless. They were trying to like push into them and force fights and all, and EG were like, they were very confident in their late game. You can tell, like, this Anti-Mage, like we said, the Anti-Mage was a really good pickup from the fourth pick, because they just didn't really have anything to be able to dress that hero, and they go ahead and go for this last pick Tinker, and that's great, but it's a hero that is only going to function as an anti-carry if there are no saving mechanisms, right? You chain disable this hero, you chain laser him, right? But in this game, they have 2 ways to save an AM. So they have both the imprisonment as well as the relocate to be able to save an anti-mage. So you can't, like, the Tinker can't operate as a functioning anti-carry in this kind of game.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they even have force steps too. So if he's put in like too far of a position, they just have so many different mechanisms to actually save him if he does go too far of a dive. And yeah.
And there you have a Weaver. I felt like that hero pick was slightly disconnected with the rest of the lineup. Do you agree, Fogged?
Yeah, we were actually inside like the talent lounge too, and Winter was heavily hating on the Weaver pick.
So what is it? What makes people dislike the Weaver pick? Outside of Lil, perhaps?
He just doesn't he has no flash farming. He's just a weak hero. He needs multiple different items. He has low base damage. He needs too much to really become a relevant factor into the game.
He's a hero that needs to kill in order to be an appropriate carry, and that's not really what you want to see. We're very prevalent in flash farming right now. Like, we all want to be able to see at least some sort of wave clear, and Weaver doesn't do that for you. I think Weaver is like, we've seen the 4 position Weaver work out, but that's for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's able to be a rather disruptive, aggressive 4 position that can scale. But as a heavy impact hero at 25 minutes as sort of like a core, it's harder to be able to operate. I think it's incredibly hit and miss.
Okay, well, on the other side of the battlefield, we had Zai on Kotl, and actually we've got Zai with Slacks right now. The winner's interview is ready. Let's see what he has to say. Is he as cool and relaxed as Cap says, Slacks?
Are you kidding? This kid is cold as ice, my friend.
Yeah?
Oh, my God. I'm feeling cooler just standing
All right, well,
next to him.
you put your jacket on and get into that interview.
Oh, okay. Hey, Zai. How's it going?
Pretty well.
All right, pretty well. You guys just dominated. Thank goodness. I mean, things are going pretty okay for you at the major. I want to know, this is a little personal. You guys lost to Complexity earlier today. They were pumped. How were you guys feeling? Was it a hit on the honor, or were you guys like, we'll get him?
Oh, that wasn't great. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think anyone is happy with that loss, but they played well. They were prepared for what we wanted to do, and then I lost.
All right, no worries. Okay. So I had a big question for you. You guys have some of the greatest carries in the world on your team, but we all know behind every good carry, there is a suffering support. So just as a support player myself, describe what it's like playing with these carries. What do you have to do to make sure that their games are good?
I just have to not have fun. I just give up my right to have fun, pretty much.
What does that mean? Can you describe that for us?
I mean, everything you envision that's fun about Dota. Say, like, hitting heroes, killing creeps, killing Roche on any towers, all that. Nope.
No.
Not
But
bad.
it's for the win, right? It's worth it.
Sure, someone's got to do it.
Okay, good to hear. All right, so I wanted to ask you some other stuff about ping pong. I know you've been practicing lately. Interviewers always ask at these things, who are you afraid to face off against in the tournament for Dota? I want to know, who are you afraid to face off against in ping pong?
Me and Saho played doubles against Aura Gaming, and I think we put against their manager, and is it Nana? And he was good.
Oh, okay, so watch out for him.
Yes.
All right, good advice. So, Wisp, you played in the first game, you won. Crypt played it in the second game, he won. Let's not talk about the Complexity game. Don't worry about that. Which one of you is the better Wisp player? In all honesty, don't be nice. I know how modest you are. Who's the better Wisp?
Me.
Yes. And why?
I think it's just like more suited for my role in this team. Yeah.
Okay. Fun.
It works when he plays it too, just a bit different.
It works. It's not as good, but it works, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are going up against Complexity. It's rematch time, baby. Are we going to see the same thing, or are you guys prepared a bit? Are you ready to face them?
I think we're ready. I think we kind of looked at what we did wrong. I hope we worked it out, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
We'll see. Oh, you seem ready to me, man. This guy's hype. He's intense. This is the angriest I've ever seen Zai. He's pissed, Machine. He's pissed.
Jeez, he needs to calm down. He needs to calm right down, okay?
All right.
Go get him one of those
good.
cool packs the guy had on his forehead. He needs to chill. All right. Cheers, Slacks. Thank you very much. From Zai, he seems to say that there's no fun in the support role.
I disagree.
Discuss.
Didn't we already talk about that? There's something wrong with you if you played the hard 5 position.
come on
it's
now.
like,
Come on. There's probably a lot of viewers
Okay,
out there who
I
are
play
passionate
support.
supports.
I like playing support because it makes me feel like, you win and then, it's partly because of you,
Yeah.
even though nobody else will see that. I guess in a way that doesn't really make sense. But to me, it makes sense. And
To
I
you.
think to a lot of other support players, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like there's an absence of support players, Fogged. They exist. They exist and they have fun.
Okay, no. This is actually better because Fogged used to play core and then went to playing support.
This is
You
fun.
tell me,
This
which
is-
one did you
this
enjoy
is
more?
perfect.
It's not fun.
It's-
Playing
Oh.
mid, playing a hero that hits creeps, like I said, hitting
Mm.
creeps,
Yeah.
killing heroes, that's the satisfying factor.
That's
I think
What
the
about,
one
of
what about like
gold.
that game-winning CC or like saving the
no
day?
one notices that.
No?
No, everybody's just like, wow, look at Sumail. Look at this guy.
Oh,
He's
he
get all this
three-shot
play.
that
wow,
hero.
what a play.
Wow.
Who cares
Yeah.
who hacks him? Who cares who lifted him? It's
Yeah.
the guy who deals the damage. That's the one that matters.
Hey man, you can even see it on the scoreboard. If you bring it up, there are numbers we can appreciate for a good support.
Look, 15 assists on crit.
And boom.
But 13 kills on Arteezy.
Yeah, you get that
15 assists.
that monster 300
fun.
gold per minute, you know, and you're just like, man, I'm rocking it as a support. I have one item to be able to work off. Guys, I got
Okay.
my blink dagger or force staff.
Think about this.
That's
though.
that's the thing.
That's
It's like
hype.
items are also a big part of Dota, and you see like some heroes they get to work with like 4 different activatables and do really cool, fun things. Support, his most exciting moment in the game is usually when he picks up his mobility item and is like, wow, I can do something other than my 3 abilities.
But it's-
cool.
But Arteezy has been involved in 21 kills with 40k net worth, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got yourself, poor old Crit, who has been involved in 18 kills
You're
with
right.
7k net worth. If you do the math on that, he's way more impactful.
But look, Arteezy's
I
even
like
the
this,
MVP.
Shiva. I like this.
But Arteezy's the MVP.
He is, indeed.
Yes.
And I mean, we explained this one before, but it was just a case of his job was to farm, and he put his hat on, got his pitchfork, and did some farming.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Sum it
much.
up.
That's
not-
all
that's
you need
not
to
really-
do as a core to get an
listen,
MVP.
here's another example of why playing support sucks, right? You have a support who plays Tree and Protector. That guy's always the lowest fantasy points. Because that guy's sitting there in the back, and he's like, living armor, heal towers.
Place
And then
ward.
sometimes he gets a good overgrowth, and you're like, wow, that was a cool overgrowth. Oh, now to the real action.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, look at that carry do work. Yeah,
It's a great
just-
positioning by him there. But now looking into the ones that matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Beautiful.
basically what it is.
The
You
eternal
get that.
struggle.
You get half a second of glory, and that's it.
But that half a second is totally worth it, guys. Okay. Well, continue this discussion on social media, and we'll continue it after our break. And talking of discussion, I actually had one with Slacks when I arrived.
God.
I was very, very jet lagged. I was tired. I was grumpy. But he dragged me into a dark room and started grilling me. We're going to go have a quick look at that, and then the rematch kicks off. Will Complexity seriously do it again, or will EG get that revenge that they so hunger for? We'll find out after the break. Okay.
Take a seat.